You know, you always hear the question, is there life on Mars? And whenever you hear somebody say, no, there is no life on Mars, we sent probes, we know there's no life on Mars. Well, as far as the Martian is concerned, there is now. How you doing all? I'm Joe, and today I'm here to talk about Ridley Scott's new movie, The Martian. The Martian, directed by Ridley Scott, stars Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, Michael Pena, Sebastian Stan, Kate Mara, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Jeff Daniels, Kristen Wiig, Donald Glover. Lots of people are in this movie. A lot of big names are in here. I mean, jeez Louise. The Martian tells the story of an astronaut named Mark Watney who was part of Jessica Chastain's exploration team on Mars. During a storm on Mars, he's left behind and the crew believes that he's dead, until we find out later on, and as do the other characters, he's still alive. And the whole movie is basically him trying to survive on Mars by building his own little home, taking supplies from the safe house that they built on the planet, by growing potato plants, growing seeds on there, figuring out how to use water properly in order to grow the vegetation, since on Mars you can't grow plants. And meanwhile, back on Earth, NASA discovers that he's still alive, and they try to figure out the best scenario possible to bring him back home. Now, as far as Ridley Scott goes, the guy's an already established director. He's made movies like Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator, which I really like, American Gangster, and a few other things that I'm sure I forgot to mention. But as of late, his movies haven't really had the best track record, according to some people. Prometheus was mildly received positively. The Counselor I didn't hear anything good about. And Exodus, Gods and Kings, with Christian Bale and Joel Edgerton. And I have to be honest, that movie, no thanks. Needless to say, he hasn't had the best track record lately, from what I can tell. I need to see more of his movies. But the trailer for this movie really caught my attention because I like Matt Damon, his character was stranded on Mars trying to survive, and I was hoping that it wasn't going to be very depressing and downbeat and too serious considering the premise where he's stuck on another planet. But I'm very happy to say, I'm really pleased to say that this movie was so surprisingly great. I loved it. I thought The Martian is amazing. I'm trying not to fanboy out here, but my God, what a surprise. It's surprisingly very uplifting and positive. I mean, considering the character of Mark Watney, played very, very excellently by Matt Damon, by the way, is very optimistic in the face of all these insurmountable odds. He doesn't lose hope, even when he starts to lose hope whenever something goes wrong, and it's heartbreaking when it happens too. He manages to kick himself in the butt and say, no, I'm getting out of this alive. Not giving up. And the rest of the cast is pretty much spot on. Chiwetel Ejiofor from 12 Years a Slave and Serenity. He's really good as one of the men of NASA trying to figure out the best way to bring him home. Jeff Daniels' character, kind of a jerk, let's just say, but he is good at it though. I mean, if I try to mention every single actor in this movie, I'm going to be here too long. So, all the acting all around is terrific. Matt Damon, once again, he continues to impress. And it has a surprising amount of humor in there. There's so many times where I was laughing my butt off, not just from some snappy dialogue, but for certain situations and certain things that happen. And of course, Matt Damon makes fun of certain situations. Luckily, the entire audience was getting the jokes, and I don't like it when that happens. If I'm the only one in the theater who's laughing and other people are just kind of sitting there with a blank stare on their face, it's just kind of like, do you guys have no sense of humor? Luckily, this audience at this theater was loving it. They were eating this up. It's also got some really, really cool uses of 70s music, like retro 70s and 80s music. I actually kind of got a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. With certain songs that were popping up, I just go, is Star-Lord anywhere? Is Rocket anywhere? No? Okay. But I recognize some of the songs because I hear it at work sometimes. I work at a grocery store, so when I hear that song, I just go, I know that one. Oh, I know that one. Oh, I know this one. I like it when that happens. And the whole scope and vibe of this movie looks incredible, especially some of the shots on Mars. I'm sure some of the big wide shots of the canyons and the mountains on Mars were CGI, but it looked really cool and it looked convincing. I bought it 100%, and you do feel like you're isolated on this planet whenever you're focusing on Matt Damon's character, and you're really, really hoping that he gets out of this alive, because the question was popping up all throughout the movie in my head. How the heck is he going to overcome this situation? And there were a couple of times where I actually thought that he wasn't going to make it out alive. And I'm not going to say if he does, but just know that I think Ridley Scott has finally managed to hit his mark again. And yeah, I mean, really not much else I can say. The Martian is really, really great. I'm willing to call this one of the best of 2015. If you're able to see this at a theater near you, go see it. What did you guys think of The Martian? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was alright? I don't really see you not liking this movie, but whatever your opinion is, comment below and tell me, and I'll see you guys next time on the next mission.